All right, well, some disturbing reports have emerged from Ukraine over the past few weeks of women being kept in underground bunkers by companies that are making billions of dollars off of the baby farming industry. Yes, baby farming in Ukraine is a booming industry, rakes in billions of dollars, actually. Here is the Swiss-based baby surrogacy company called Biotexcom with a promo video explaining how desperate Ukrainian women can come to their bunkers and have their uteruses turned into a baby-making machine. Watch.
Now I will show you our bomb shelter, where we will transfer our clients and their newborns in case of the outbreak of hostilities in Kiev. Let's go. Here is a toilet.
Here is a toilet.
Here we have a first aid kit. There are all the medications needed to administer first aid. Here you can see gas masks. There are instructions on how to use a gas mask all over the shelter. This bomb shelter can hold up to 200 people who will feel comfortable here. Here is our sitting and bedding zone. There are sleeping bags and beds. It's possible to sit or lie here. We have enough sleeping bags and gas masks for everyone who will stay here. There are shelvings with food, as well as tableware, napkins, diapers, and all the stuff needed for babies. Newborns will feel comfortable here. Everything needed can be done here. Here is our children's area. Here we can place newborn babies. There are special cots prepared for them. There are also cribs for a bit older babies. You can see that babies feel absolutely comfortable here. We have everything needed: diapers, cribs, blankets, clothes, food, everything needed.
But if she's talking in a hypothetical about a bomb shelter, why are there babies there now?
Well, it's not a hypothetical. This is where they are going to have a baby-making factory. This is where you go to be a surrogate. This is, you need a womb? We've got you covered. Go ahead, David.
I was going to say maybe those are just extras. You know, they have these, they make these videos, they bring in people and to set up these shots, so maybe they're just all actors.
Tester babies.
They're actors.
Yeah, tester babies.
Right. The rent a womb business. You can call it whatever you want. People in the chat are saying this is absolutely sick. This is what's happening. The rent a womb business is actually booming and is expected to double next year. The amount of money that's brought in on this rent a womb business is expected to double this next year. And the best place to do this right now is in Ukraine, where desperate women are being exploited. The Gray Zone, according to Jeremy Lafredo reporting for the Gray Zone today, quote, surrogates have to be from poorer places than their clients, explained the medical director of Kyiv's largest baby factory. Of course, that makes sense. Here's a direct quote from the Gray Zone's reporting on this. Penchoda of the Swiss-based Biotexcom says the business model that enabled him to build one of the most profitable surrogacy companies in the world is simple exploitation. Quote, we are looking for women in the former Soviet republics because logically the women have to be from poorer places than our clients. Yes, rich people can rent out the wombs. It's no surprise, then, that Biotexcom's quest for rentable wombs has led it to the seemingly endless pool of desperate young women in war-torn Ukraine. 8 years of conflict, combined with the subsequent proxy war between NATO and Russia, has plunged Ukraine into economic disaster. As Ukrainians sank into poverty, their country swiftly emerged as the international capital of the surrogacy industry. Today, Ukraine controls at least a quarter of the global market, despite being home to fewer than 1% of the world's population. How did that happen? Those numbers. Alongside the industry's rise, a seedy medical underworld filled with patient abuse and corruption took hold of the country. But it is worth pointing out that even before the war, the United Nations and other human rights organizations were setting off alarm bells about Ukraine's child trafficking and organ harvesting. They had a big problem. Shortly after 2014, NATO launched its proxy war against the people of the Donbass. We call it a genocide, and it provided the perfect opportunity to use those victims in all sorts of nefarious ways, from organ trafficking to child trafficking. and the world was aware of what was happening in Ukraine. For instance, on your screen right now is a Huffington Post report. 2015. This is a 2015 Huffington Post report that I hunted down today.
Back when the media didn't feel motivated to tell lies about Ukraine.
No.
Yeah, back when you could call Hydra Hydra. Back when you could actually use the term and not be suspended for hate speech.
Yeah, you're right. So this is 2015 from the Huffington Post, not exactly a right-wing publication, dropped this bombshell report saying Ukraine's orphanages feeder for child trafficking, reads the headline. Ukraine's orphanages are feeder for child trafficking. The report highlights the findings of a 3-year-long investigation into Ukraine's orphanages and found that children are at risk of being trafficked for sex, labor, and the selling of their organs. Yes, organ harvesting. The report says, quote, some 82,000 children are said to have lived in these facilities, although no one seems to know for sure. Some Ukrainian activists put the number closer to 200,000 children, according to the report. Don't believe it? Well, you don't have to.
It seems so unbelievable, right?
It does. It seems so unbelievable. You don't have to believe it, though. You don't have to listen to their investigation. You can actually visit the U.S. State Department's website right now. Go to the State Department's website yourself, like I did. And you can read right from their own 2014 report. Here's the U.S. State Department report. This is the U.S. State Department's 2014 report on human trafficking. In 2014, the U.S. State Department's Trafficking in Persons report stated that children in orphanages and crisis centers continue to be particularly vulnerable in trafficking within Ukraine. Here's a quote. Take a look at this. About the risks of being involved in criminal activities abroad, the government of Ukraine did not report any investigations or prosecutions of government employees for alleged complicity in trafficking-related offenses during the reporting period, despite reports of corruption in other sectors of the government.
Oh, no?
Now, add to that, like right now, at this particular point in time, we are paying probably some of those people's pensions, salaries, the people that were involved in that, because
The
they're
government
probably still
employees,
there.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's just the money that's on the books.
Right.
All of the money that's funneled there that's off the books and they're receiving. The section on Ukraine in this report is particularly disturbing. It highlights how the government essentially ignores child trafficking and turns a blind eye to it. The U.S. State Department report even says that the Ukrainian government wouldn't even prosecute its own government officials who were involved in child trafficking. If you could imagine anything more troubling than having these children sold off for sex trafficking, imagine their organs being sold off on the black market. You don't have to imagine it. It's actually happening at an increased clip, by the way. Now, you'll recall, well, take a look at this on your screen. So this is a report on the inside the massive multi-billion-dollar global organ trafficking industry. It's massive. And according to the World Health Organization, organ trade is the buying and selling of organs outside of national medical systems and for profit. Global Financial Integrity nonprofit estimates that 10% of all organ transplants, including lungs, heart, and liver, are done via trafficked organs. 10% of them. I think that number is low, according to other reports I've read. But just 10% is enough. If you want a kidney on the black market, by the way, the going rate today, according to the numbers that I researched, you could pay $30,000 to get a black market kidney. $30,000. One kidney is traded on the black market, according to the reports, every hour. Every hour. Last year, Russian authorities discovered that Red Cross, they found these Red Cross files in a hospital in Mariupol. Once they took over this hospital, they discovered that files that had children's organs listed on them. According to investigators, according to the reports at the time from Sputnik News, hundreds of medical files found at the Red Cross base contain information on children's healthy organs with no indication of any illnesses. The files also have data on who the child's parents are. Want to make some money? Sell off one of your child's kidneys. $30,000 on the black market. It's a great and highly lucrative business. We had Tim Ballard.
There was a baby factory found in Nigeria. They found 19 pregnant girls and young women who had been kidnapped. They were raped, impregnated, and forced to give birth. The cops said that the boys were going to be sold on the black market for $1,000 and that the girls would be sold for $700. In this situation, the women were promised domestic work and then they were kidnapped and hauled to a baby farm.